And how is it going, everyone? Welcome. Tomorrow I wanna quench the castle blaze, and today's gonna be an interesting stream to me because I'm gonna be doing some screens that costed a lot to be beaten by some players. Not this one in particular, though. This one, well, actually, one of them did struggle with this room, but it's okay. Not supposed to be that hard, but at the same time, feel like for games like this, you probably have to warm up before starting them. I mean, I guess this room is a good warm up in itself. Probably, or maybe not, I don't know, hard to tell. I mean, technically when it comes to Needle, anything works as a warm-up. Guess it just depends on if you want to practice something in particular or not, but I guess in this case, if the only thing you want to do is just kinda like warm up your fingers, it might not be that necessary, but yeah. Probably will have to die a couple times before going back to full power. That's just an excuse. I mean, it's not like this room is free. But compared to some of the stuff that is gonna come later, it might as well be. The screen I'm the most interested in is the next one. That's the one I care the most about. The screen I've been looking forward to the most. Because all of the other ones I can more or less predict how they are gonna go. But the next screen I cannot know. I just cannot know how it's gonna go. But yeah, we will see. I guess this screen is not that free at all. Oh, really? That's some lack of confidence in that landing. Should have gone a lot more to the right. Okay. No confidence whatsoever. Overconfidence is also bad, I guess. I remember Draenor in particular struggling a lot with this screen. I think that Echo did this screen extremely fast though. Clearly way faster than what I'm doing. Well, that's what I remember at least. Okay, that works. And here comes the infamous screen. So this screen made made some players very upset. But yeah, I don't know what's the problem with it, right? Essentially, it's a screen that you're supposed to do very precise jumps. There are barely any spikes in the room, but it's hard to get every jump essentially. So yeah, essentially it's a screen that Echo, that is a very good player, almost gave up on. It's probably because, well, I don't know about aligns. I don't even know what align I currently have, but that's the thing. I wasn't thinking about aligns when I made this, but apparently some of these jumps are align specific. but I don't know how. It's fine. I mean, as I say, I think their problem is that is how they try to line up their champs instead of simply like running off. Like, to me, a checkpoint like this has to be played like Crash Bandicoot, you know? Like, you run to the edge of a platform and you simply jump when you feel that you're about to fall. Some of these jumps do allow you to recover a little bit, in the sense that if you fail this jump, it's whatever. There you go. Nice. I have a feeling that you all suck. Bro, come on. It's not like I even practiced it or anything. No, I didn't. I don't know. I feel like this is the difference between being a good needle player and a bad needle player. I'm a bad needle player, and that's precisely why a room like this is not hard to me. I probably don't even think about the technicalities of why that room is so tight, so I just roll with it. I'm not sure. One thing that I kinda have the theory is that, like, I will have to rewatch the VOD, but I'm pretty sure I did this checkpoint with this align here. Like, since I always hog the platforms, I feel like I did it with this align, with the one on the right of this platform. So, like, if anyone needs to know what align it is, I think it is that one, but I don't know. When I go to the left, the align also changes. Because I touched the wall on the left side. So I think that's how I do it, but I don't know, I find it easy. Not sure why the people, well, the ones that I know that struggle with are Drain or an Echo. Echo a little bit more, but that's the thing. I think that they are overthinking it. Like, it's not hard when you just have your brain empty like I do. You are thinking it too hard. Maybe having the right align will have helped them, and I'm pretty sure the right align is, at least at the beginning, the one that is to the right of the initial platform. That's the reason why I didn't think that screen was hard, and the reason why I didn't think of nerfing it, or even close, because I'm like, if anything I should buff it, but no. Now that I see that people struggle with that, I don't know. I don't know what to think. It's like, to me, like, I don't know if I should call it a gimmick, because it's not a gimmick, but like, the idea of that sort of platforming, which is essentially like just be doing very big jumps, very long jumps, more than big, and needing to land very specifically. I don't think that's possible to do without doing it align specific. Like, I don't know about aligns, but if you make those jumps possible with every single align, it probably, well, I don't know. I will be talking out of my ass. That's what I mean. I feel like that's a screen that the more skilled you are, the harder it is to beat. you know? I have no clue. Nice. Surprised I did that first try. I mean, first try like the last part. Alright, so, well, maybe... Not sure if you've been noticing, but... The clouds are getting more... Well... I don't know how to say it, but let's just say that there are more clouds in the background. The shit is getting, well, cloudy. That's the point. But yeah. Hey Draynor, how is it going? Hey, I beat the screen that you and Echo were complaining about pretty quickly. So I'm not sure what to tell you. But yeah, no, it's okay, don't worry about it. It happens. Like, I've been saying it over and over, but the better you are at needle games, the worse it is to beat that screen. Do it again so I can see it. Just watch the VOD, bro. It ain't that hard. Literally watch the VOD, go to minute 4 or 3. No. If we're talking about beating it, it had to be minute 6, probably. I think. Twitch is bugging out and I can watch the VOD. Well, you will be able to watch it later. I mean, if I was on the previous screen, maybe I would consider redoing it, but no, thank you. Yeah, that last part is hard to do. The last part, catching this refresher the highest you can, is hard. Because if you catch it just barely, you're not gonna make it. So you have to catch it at the right time, but it's a drop jump that you also have to do while moving right, so that's hard to do. So yeah. Right. You also can hit your head very easily with the platform, which also makes it kinda challenging. And since it's the last jump, it's kinda fucked up that it is that hard. Probably should have put a safeguard on. With the way that the level is structured, I think a safeguard will be even possible to do. Wow, that's a weird death. Yeah, also, if I'm not mistaken, isn't this the second to last screen in this zone? I think it might be. I think the next one is the last screen here. No, it has to be. Like, isn't this a screen 69? No, 59. Yeah, because the screen that this guy struggled so much on was 57. So 58, 59, yeah, this one is 59, and then the next one is 60, and that's the last one for this zone. Alright. Well, and the last screen of this zone, comparatively, is probably quite easy compared to the other last screens of each zone. One might be the easiest one. Well, I don't know if this one or the one on the next zone. It's one of those two. The one that is the easiest last screen. But it's mostly because without doing some very precise stuff, it's hard to do something with default gimmicks like this one actually very challenging, you know? It's fine. Also, were you able to get any further drain node? Or did you just give up on it? It's alright. Don't worry. As I say before, if you weren't able to progress, you really want to see the rest for yourself, you can choose, you can choose close the stream when I get to the screen that you are currently at. Well, which is literally 10 screens from here. Essentially a whole zone of difference. Beautiful. What a scrub! I mean, this is not a hard room at all. I'm just basically scrubbing here. Okay, got it. And this is the final room of this zone. As you can see, the clouds are starting to cover everything. They are also getting darker. So you can see the comparison right there. I mean, being able to see the comparison like that quickly doesn't make any sense, but these are limitations. We don't have a real weather system in place, so just gotta do whatever we can do, you know? So I'm pretty sure you can cut this stuff very easily if you really want to. Like, I'm pretty sure that you can go from this champ to this one if you have enough height, that is. Like, it's most likely possible. And if you can grab this refresher, you can easily grab the following ones. But yeah, no skips. I'm not allowed to do skips. I am completely forbidden from doing that. So I gotta say that I like that spike structure on the right, like this one here. Like the way it looks, kinda looks like a shield. I mean, a very, you know, decorated shield. Not a very functional shield, but yeah, looks cool. It is also another screen that I could have simply done with normal spike, well, diamond looking spikes, but it will be very dull to only have that. It's hard to, since those champ refreshers are so close to a spike, it's very hard to time that properly. And not to mention that you also need, like, you cannot spam, because if you spam you don't have enough height to get to the next refresher. That's essentially, I mean, aside from the beginning here that can be a little bit precise, especially this first champ, that fall is probably the hardest part of this save. Only if we ignore the beginning. Now, I gotta say that I am afraid for a bunch of checkpoints on the net zone. The net zone is a zone that is not that hard, relatively, but yeah. You gave up, it's fine. Don't worry about it. But yeah, it's a zone that has a lot of stuff that people that are very good at needle probably don't struggle that much with, but I do. So we will see how that goes. But yeah, For worrying about that, I have to worry about finishing this one. So pretty sure you can skip the refreshers on the left side. So this shit is getting very cloudy. And eventually rains. So the gimmick here is a standard gimmick. It's the triple jump. You can see that these little gaps that are between the clouds are there in case the player gets... If you played I Wanna Be The Guy games, you know what this star does. But if you haven't, you don't know what just happened. So I tried arranging this way so you know exactly when to jump and you start realizing that you can jump 3 times with the positioning of these gaps here, you know. I don't know if that will be... Well, first of all, I don't know if anyone new to fan games will even make it to this screen. I will probably be asking for too much, but yeah. Big game design, of course. But yeah, I don't think that the people that wouldn't know that's a triple jump will even make it here, so yeah, it is what it is. Didn't know? If you didn't know about the triple jump, unbelievable. But yeah, well, by the way, the spikes here are golden. Kind of to contrast the spikes on the previous zone that are silver. So is the save. Well, and so is the gold star, which represents the triple jump. So yeah, wanted to go for that loop, basically. Oh, you didn't know about the gaps? I see. So this is essentially the first time that the game has an actual warp. Though it's a warp only functionally. It's supposed to be a launcher in-game, right? Like, you go in that and it launches you closer to the castle. Because something that you might be realizing is that the castle is in our sights, and every time we get to one of those, it's getting closer. But in reality, we are getting closer to it. We're getting launched closer to it. Anyways, this checkpoint is hard, by the way. Draenor struggled with this, Norton struggled with this. I don't remember Echo, but I also remember I struggled with it as well. This first jump is very hard to do. By first jump, I mean until you land. Like, it's not easy at all. And yeah, it's not like the checkpoint ends there. But yeah. This one might take a while. But essentially, you gotta bonk your head here and then short jump there. It's not easy to do. It's not easy to do at all. The gaps, I know. But yeah, Draenor told me that this is the only checkpoint that he struggled with up until the checkpoint that he's currently in. But yeah, I'm not surprised by this one. This one is fucked up. This one is not a very kind checkpoint at all. Though personally to me, a lot of the checkpoints that come afterwards are not much better than this one. I guess for people that are better at Needle, they recognize that this one is a little bit out of the ordinary. Because yeah, you need to do... Like, first of all, this jump is very precise. I mean, you can kinda... Hold up. It depends on how you do it, but I think it's possible to not need to bonk your head, but... It's probably the easiest way to do it. But yeah, that doesn't mean it's gonna be easy. It means that the alternatives are probably harder. And by alternatives, I mean only one alternative that I'm sure it exists. Yeah. It's a hard one. Then you kind of have to deal with the choking potential, of course. And that was a pretty sad death. Mostly because of the champs here, that one is not really the hardest. Well, the hardest is obviously the first one, but I mean, even on that part down there are other champs harder than that one. But yeah. At least here, you can kinda retry them. Almost. Oh, by the way, if you fall here, you die. I mean, I didn't put any warning, but it seems a little bit obvious at this point that you will die if you fall. I mean, I wouldn't say it's obvious, but considering the way the whole level is designed and the fact that your target is now those launchers, you probably will know that going down is not the right direction. But if you just went down, it's not like you will be missing out on much anyways. But I also felt that it was a little bit lame to put a warning here, because the warning sign on the mountain, I wouldn't say that it looks out of place. There are a lot of mountains that tell you, hey, don't go here because you're gonna fall. But in the middle of the clouds, unless I make a fairy or something, it wouldn't make much sense to have a warning of any kind. It will just look out of place. I'm doing those champs with not a lot of confidence. That's what's ultimately killing me. I'm lacking some confidence on those champs. It's fine. Need some confidence. So I might need some more power. The weather today is pretty weird. I mean, it's relatively cold, but not that cold. It's one of those where you never know when you're gonna feel cold and when not. Nice. Well, what definitely looks cold is the game. I mean, if the kid somehow doesn't catch a cold here, this guy is immune to viruses. He's just completely immune. Okay, and then that. Oops, too late. Those last champs are also not that easy. I mean, the one that goes from the last platform into the launcher, that is not easy to do. Or at least not that easy to do. Also, another thing about the launchers. You know that my initial idea was to have the Sonic Riders ring boosters as a launcher. The problem is that I couldn't find a good looking image of them, so I essentially grabbed whatever image I could find and started drawing on top of it, pretty much. And that's the result. Then later I added the animation of those little lights going into it. I personally like the way it looks. I think that I'm satisfied with my work on that sprite. Because I mean, using a warp wouldn't make any sense if the idea is that you are simply getting launched forward. You're not simply going to another dimension. And the fact that I hate the way that I wanna be the guy warps look so much, you know. I really hate the way they look. I just made a launcher. It's a launch warp, I guess. I'm feeling that shampoo a lot, surprisingly. Almost. But yeah, as I say, that last jump is not easy. Now, there are a lot of precise things in this zone that might take me a while to hit. Wouldn't say that this is one of them, but it does get quite precise later on. In fact, when I say later on, you don't have to really wait that much. Like, already the next screen is quite precise. So, yeah. I mean, you will see what I mean. Oh, that was too high, really. That was surprising. It's also pretty hard, at least to me, to do platforming with triple jump, because it's very hard to avoid the player from simply skipping everything, you know. That's the thing about triple jumps. You have to design the whole room very carefully. It's not easy at all. Nice. So here starts the first the first screen to have a lot of checkpoints. Not even the first zone had this many checkpoints. And that's because the jumps in this... Well, that was easy. The jumps in this thing are not easy at all. You essentially have to do 2 sets of jumps to get to the next checkpoint. And this one in particular, I mean, not this one that I'm doing literally right now, but the one that comes afterwards, that one is not easy to do. Like, this fall with this zigzag is not easy to do at all. In fact, I would probably say that's the hardest jump in the checkpoint. Even if it might not look that bad, I can tell you it is that bad. The other ones look harder than they actually are. The hardest one is most likely that drop. Mostly because of the zigzag and, well, the fact that the sudden jump that you have to do at the bottom, which is it's very sudden and you're falling very fast. And as I also keep saying, I absolutely suck at drop jumping, so That shit is a problem. It's fine. But a lot of these champs here, the whole idea is to press the button as slightly as possible, which is not something easy to do at all. It's actually something very hard to do. Well, at least to me. Especially with a gamepad like the one I'm using that is not that old. You kinda have to press the champ button slightly stronger than you will do with a more worn out gamepad, you know? So that ends up making it hard. So I like how the blaze, the castle blaze looks right on top of the checkpoint. Believe it or not, that's not intentional. But I really like the way it looked once it looked like that. Once I saw that it looked like that. But yeah. So about the rain, I initially intended to make the rain with, you know, with Game Maker physics, but it seemed to be more of a pain in the ass than what it was worth. So the rain that you're seeing right there is simply a GIF. A very well done GIF that I didn't make, of course, but yeah. You see the news with Street Fighter 6. I mean, if the news is that might appear in the game, those are not news. That's something that we've been knowing for quite a while, unless you mean something else. How is it going, Wasabi? I don't know what other news you might be talking about. I also know that the master ranks change, but I'm nowhere close to master anyway, so I don't think that would affect me personally. Doing that third champ here is hard. Yeah, that one. That was too early, but yeah, finding the timing for that last champ is not easy. So for what I remember when I tested this screen, I think it might have been the second one that took me the longest. The first one being the one that Raynor is currently stuck with. So it makes sense. Essentially, the way it goes. Essentially, what I wanted to do for this this type of screen here is having very precise champs, and because of that, having a lot of checkpoints. Instead of having like a full screen with like medium difficulty champs but no checkpoints. Just have a lot of champs, a lot of hard champs, but also with a lot of checkpoints. That's also something relatively dangerous, because you could easily, by doing that, make some stuff align specific without knowing. Well, maybe some of this stuff is align specific and I don't know. I guess at that point it doesn't matter much if you provide the optimal align right at the beginning, you know, at the beginning of the checkpoint. Nice. There are some... Wait, how did I do this? Oh, okay, like that. I think that this... I'm not sure actually if it's possible to jump through the mini spikes on a single jump. I don't think it is, but I feel like I remember watching someone do that. But by someone I mean Echo, which is the only one that I saw play this zone. But yeah. I don't know if he did that or not. Maybe I'm just making that up. But don't worry too much about it. So this is the type of checkpoints that really make you work your hand, without a doubt. Well, this is also one of those screens that I don't think that many people care about the death count. But yeah, this is one of those screens that will increase your death count by quite a lot. I mean, unless you're somehow an absolute needle god, very hard not to accumulate a lot of deaths in screens like this one, you know. So I'm really starting to get heated up. I need to yeah, enter my final form. Playing games like this one really increases your body temperature. There is no doubt about it. I don't know if I'm gonna regret doing that later, because the cold is kinda... It's gonna get worse the longer into the night it goes. But I mean, I can just put it back up, I guess. This first sequence of jumps is quite messed up, without a doubt. Really? A funny way to die. You can technically... I mean, you could run through the wall. Well, not through, I mean, run to the wall and jump, and you shouldn't hit the mini spike. It doesn't matter on this first jump, but it does matter on the last one. Well, on the next one. It does matter quite a bunch. So this is the type of jumps that make you tense every finger that you are not using for jumping. But you want them to be as immobile as possible. But you also want the finger you are doing the jumping with to also be relatively tense. Kind of the idea. And I still haven't gotten to the triple diamond. That's the fucked up thing. The triple diamond is still there. I'm talking about the next checkpoint, basically. The next checkpoint you have this type of thing that... I mean, usually those type of champs that are called diamond, they tend to be very hard to do. A triple diamond is something that is normally not possible unless you have a triple champ, but even with a triple champ it's not easy to do. You have very little room to move across. Nice. Okay. And there are two ways of doing this. I think the way Echo did it is I think he jumped straight to this one, or I don't remember what he did. I know that he did it differently from me. Wish I could remember. Technically, you can do this. You can just hold right, and I think you can get past the first two spikes. I'm not very sure, but I think it is the way it works. But yeah, you could also just jump in the middle of the first two spikes and just build your way there. But yeah, I think the way I did it was like this. So I wonder how, because right now struggling a little bit to replicate whatever I might have done. But I'm pretty sure I did that. Just that it might be pixel perfect or something. I wish I would have written down what strategy I use. Yeah. Being a triple diamond and all that, it's bound to be fucked up. And the real fucked up thing is that the checkpoint is not done after this. So remember when I say that gate screen on zone 4, that it was very fucked up, that was made knowing how fucked up it is. It wasn't made by accident. Well, the same kind of applies to this one. I knew how fucked up it would be to put a triple diamond in the game, and I still did. Like, I really had to have it. I couldn't help it. But as I say, I have the feeling I managed to do this in a single jump like this. Just that right now I'm failing it, so I'm starting to doubt if that's even possible. Maybe it isn't. Part of me says that that was the strat that I used. You could also... Yeah, that's also possible too. Jumping between the first two spikes and then going straight into the... like, jumping out of it with a single jump. Because, you know, there are 3 gaps in between each... 3 gaps in that whole section. And you only have 2 double jumps, so you cannot be in all 3 of those gaps since you can only do it twice. That I think might be the optimal strat to do this. So I still feel that when I tested, I simply run here and double jump in the middle. But I'm testing it now and it's not looking like it's working, so now I have my doubts. Maybe I was just feeling especially adventurous. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I was just on a very good day that I somehow made that work, but I will be failing to make that work right now. Oh, that was weird. I pressed the retry by accident. I mean, when you retry so often, retrying by accident is common. Okay. That's a shame. The way I did it here is like that. Really? I mean, dying to the top spike I can understand, but dying to the bottom one, really? Like, that's like the dumbest spike to die to. That's a shame. I cannot guarantee you if the way that I'm doing the triple diamond right now is the easiest way or the most optimal way or not. I have no clue. All I know is that it's working. It's working. It works sometimes. Nice. Alright, and then the final one is essentially just doing a bunch of zigzags. A bunch of zigzags and then a very long horizontal jump, pretty much. Surprised I'm actually getting killed that much here. Why did you use so many 16 pixels in the game? I mean, I didn't even know they were called 16 pixels in the first place, you know? That's the thing. I didn't really do this knowing that it was badly seen or that, you know, it was something super hard. I just did things that look precise, and well, they are precise, but I didn't think it was particularly harmful, you know. It's just hard. But yeah, you can say that about the whole game, you know. Hey, don't worry, once I get past this screen, the rest of these screens, at least up until the one that Draenor is stuck in, are not as brain-rotting as this one. Trust. I mean, this is a very typical, like, hard needle room. There are a lot of hard needle games that tend to have jumps like this one. But yeah. It is what it is. These are definitely the rooms that increase your body temperature. Not far enough. It's totally possible to die on that part. I mean, the thing is that the way this room was made with 2 jumps in each checkpoint is that the first jump is harder and the second one is easier, but the second one being easier doesn't mean that it's free. That's the thing. Not particularly free. Yeah, you can see it easily. Well, to be fair, in this case, this jump ended up being harder, like the fall being harder than the first one. Yeah, I think that's the only exception. I really can do the last one, huh? Not wanting to be given to me. Except for the first checkpoint in this screen, I think all of them mostly took the same amount of time. Like, the first one was super fast. I guess the first one is mostly an introduction to how fucked up it can get. It's just warming you up until it actually fucks you up a lot later. I'm close, but not close enough. The typical so close, yet so far, you know? Got him? But yeah, this checkpoint, well, this is screened differently from the previous one. Is, you know, well, this and most of the ones here are simply about going for a single checkpoint. That is challenging, of course. Wow, I pretty much first tried that. Good balance. In any case, this one right here is supposed to like introduce inverted spikes. Because believe it or not, this is the first time in the game that you can die to the back side of a spike. In every other room I made sure that you couldn't interact with the bottom of a spike, but you can do it here, and it's the whole point of this room, that what can mostly kill you is these inverted spikes. But yeah, it's a way to introduce them so I can use them later more casually, you know. I had to make a room full of them to introduce it, of course. It had to be that way. Well, and I also think that it makes more sense in a zone like this where you are already kinda on the sky. So it's not like the spikes floating like this will be too jarring to look at. So honestly, I don't like the way that inverted spikes look. So a room like this, I should think that it's ugly looking. I don't like looking at it. But yeah, had to introduce the idea. Also the castle getting quite close. You can start to see the silhouette very clearly, to the point that we cannot even see the blaze anymore. The blaze is too high for the camera to include it. Oh, that's a very sad death. But yeah, I guess that we're not supposed to do that second jump that high. Hope to take it a little bit more easily. This is one of those screens that, well, here's the thing about how random sometimes it is to test the screens. Like the previous screen that I essentially beat on the first try, when I tested it, it took me a little bit more than that. But this screen that I'm playing right now, when I was testing it, I beat it almost immediately. But yeah. That's the reason why you wanna have testers. They are valuable. Testing things yourself, yeah, it's not that accurate to how the difficulty really is. Something that, you know, first-time players will be able to tell you better. I mean, first-time players of the fun game, and not of fun games in general, obviously. And aside from those, well, actually, I will say this zone had a lot of screens that have more than one checkpoint, even excluding the ones that have super precise jumps. There were actually a couple of screens with 2 checkpoints, and this is one of them. Just like that. I actually don't even remember what number of room this is. No, I think I know. This is a room 66. And the next one... Well, the next one is 67, of course. But it's supposed to be a parallel to 57. Which is that one infamous room I was talking about. It didn't mind break Echo and Draenor as much as 57, so that's nice. But yeah, it's made with the same type of gimmick. It's just that since this is triple jump, it's harder to make it super precise, so I guess I didn't make it that precise. That was very bad. Yes, this is Sonic Riders. How is it going, Yannick? This is the Babylon Garden theme. One of my favorite, like in general, when it comes to video games. Because the soundtrack of Sonic Riders is cool, but I feel like this song is the best one by far. I mean, I also like the one on the desert. The one on the desert is cool too, but I feel like this one is so above the rest of the of the game. I personally did like, I will say, Zero Gravity soundtrack more, even though I didn't really like the game that much. Oh, a Sims emote? You know that YouTube was actually advertising The Sims 2. So what happened? Did a new Sims game release? Because it's not normal that the 2 biggest broadcasting companies are advertising the same shit at the same time, you know? You don't know? I mean, after all, we are not the demographic for Sims games. Got it. But yeah, as you can see here, this is the same logic as room 57. The mind-breaking precise jumps. But don't worry, these are not that hard. Maybe they should make the Sims gacha. I mean, considering that I'm pretty sure they are owned by Electronic Arts, I wouldn't be surprised if they have a very shitty monetization system in place already. Maybe not the gacha in particular, but maybe something similar. Damn, I thought that would make it, but it didn't make it. In fact, you know, the funny thing is, that this screen is probably gonna take me the same to beat as the screen 57, maybe even more. That's what I tell you. So if there is an align here that is optimal, it has to be the one on the wall. So I mean, normally I test these things with the align that you are usually supposed to have at the time. Nice. Okay. Nice. And this last jump is hard to do, so still got it, nice. Alright, no problem. But yeah, I still feel that like screen 57 is blown out of proportion so much. I feel like everyone is exaggerating so much with that screen. But yeah, it's okay. Now, I understand the complaints, and if I were to make a new difficulty for the game, I will nerf it. But like, as you can see, it's not that I got lucky when I did it. I simply did it, you know. But it's fine. As I say, it's the reason why you want to have testers that are not you. They will be able to spot those kind of things, because not everyone plays the same. And I think more importantly, something that I always say about this game is that it was built to be played with gamepad. So I feel like a lot of the things that people struggle with, they will probably struggle less if they just played it with gamepad, but almost no one in the Iwana community plays with gamepad. So yeah, it's also another reason why having testers that are not you will help. One of the few other people that use gamepad, but I'm not the only one. I'm far from being the only one. But still. Also, the screen after this one is the screen that Draenor is stuck in. So I'm just saying, Draenor, that you might want to cover your eyes and your ears, or not, I don't know. That jump is hard. Jump ain't easy at all. Then after that jump, not sure if this is possible with a single jump. I don't think it is. I will have to check. Maybe it is. And then, well, there are some interesting jumps in here. Like, this screen was never really on my radar. It never took me longer than the other ones, but like, analyzing it right now, it might give me some trouble. I mean, not as much trouble as the next one. That's possible to do in a single jump. Nice. Well, and here we have the screen 69. It's 69 because no matter what you do, you're gonna get fucked, of course. So just like screen 63, where the whole point was to have two very precise jumps into a checkpoint. That's what you have here as well. Just in case you don't get the align at first, get this align. Because all of this was tested to work with that align. Well, actually, I don't know if Draenor is using that align or not. Draenor, I don't know if you're even still here, but if you are, and if you haven't tested it, try the align on the left side of the checkpoint. This is the one that I tested this with. This is the one that I'm assuming everyone, even by accident, was gonna use. Not to mention that it's the only... Well, you can technically use the align in between the platform and the spike, but it's essentially the only easy align you have here to take. So it was tested with that. So Draenor doesn't like this checkpoint, and he's stuck on this one because it's supposed to be a corner jump. I didn't really think of this one as a corner jump, but I guess now that he pointed it out, it kinda looks like one. Considering that it's an inverted spike, I wasn't even thinking of it as a corner jump, I guess. Yannick is starting to sweat. I mean, this screen is probably the most fucked up looking one in the game. At least just looking at it, it looks menacing. But I can guarantee you it's not the hardest one. I can easily guarantee you that it's not gonna be the hardest one. So yeah, there is still room for more bullshit, don't worry about it. I got it. And this one here is supposed to be a drop. You drop slightly and then you double jump. Something also interesting to notice is that this room was nerfed. Not in any of these jumps here, I think, but it was nerfed here. This, if I'm not mistaken, used to have two spikes here or something, like two mini spikes. So doing this jump was even more cancerous than it already is now. And then I think I nerfed something here, I can't remember. Well, I think this used to be two full spikes instead of two mini spikes in each. But I think those were the two nerfs I made on this screen. Because yeah, it was somehow even harder than it is now. Can you believe it? Yeah. It was harder. And I remember mouthing quite a lot at this screen when I was testing it. But yeah, it is what it is. It's just the way it is. But the castle is getting closer. You can even see the door. Or rather the entrance. There is no door. The door is open. Another thing that I did for this screen is that I made the clouds bigger, so that way it looked like you were actually getting closer to somewhere, you know? It's kinda the idea. But you are certainly getting closer. Closer to despair. You know, it's okay. This screen is actually like, if you are managed to beat this screen, most of the ones that come afterwards are not that bad. It only gets fucked later, but you have some time to breathe after this one. Now, this jump here is very hard to do. This one I was very close to nerfing it, and honestly I should have nerfed it, but I didn't. My bad, I guess. This jump is hard because it's like a very awkward movement that you have to do. You kinda have to do that. And that's not that easy to do at all. You don't have too much room to maneuver that. And it's not like the champ that comes afterwards is free either, so I think that this checkpoint might be the hardest one in the screen. Probably. Because a checkpoint like this one is also quite hard, but I guess it's in between these two. Like either this one or this one are the hardest checkpoints of this screen. Probably. Almost. Actually, I feel like if I had timed this properly, I could have saved before dying. But I will need to time it so well. I wanted to make that work. Didn't even press the jump button there. I also like the overall shape of this room. You know how the top is completely symmetrical, and the way you advance this room is kind of by going like up, down, and up, down. Like essentially you are doing like this type of wave movement to progress through the screen. I'm a fan. So honestly, I feel a little bit weird praising this game, because praising your own game is very narcissistic to do, isn't it? Well, I said it multiple times that I'm a narcissist, so not a surprise for me. Yeah, the Obama medal, correct. No, like there are a lot of things. I mean, if I didn't like the way this game is, I wouldn't have made it in the first place. So obviously I'm gonna like it, though. There are some checkpoints that are pretty fucked up even for me, but even with all of that, I still like what I was able to do. But yeah, you are probably gonna hear the salt by the time I get to the final zone. When I get to the final zone, I'm probably gonna be singing a different tune. And understandably so. So the good thing is that this first jump, I mean, I'm struggling with it, so I cannot say I'm getting it consistently, but not struggling as much as I thought I would. Could be worse. Still struggling though. That's the absolute truth. Don't you worry. Like, doing this jump is pretty hard, because if you jump too high, you're gonna hit that, but too low, you're gonna hit this. You can insult the maker this time. Well, I could insult the maker, actually. It's just that so far I don't really have the need to do it. But yeah, it's as I say. Just wait until I get to the final zone. When I get to the final zone, I might be insulting myself quite a lot. Or maybe not. Maybe I breeze through the final zone like it's nothing. Hard to tell. We are still far from that, so I need to worry about what I'm doing now. Which I am getting stuck, so. But like this screen, that's the thing. I'm not surprised that I will get stuck here. So since it's not a surprise, it's hardly something that that will make me extremely pissed off. Though I could also get stuck for a very long time here. That's a big possibility. But I guess it depends on what you mean by a big time. Everything is possible. So I gotta say that it might not be a good idea to have an objective like this, but I feel like my objective for today is making it to the final zone. Maybe just making it to the first screen of the final zone, that's fine by me, but I wanna make it there, but I don't know if I should make that my objective. Because I might be shooting higher than what I can do. I honestly don't know. What I do know is that this screen is one of the biggest obstacles. Once we get past this screen... really? I got killed by that? No way. There you go. It's one of the biggest obstacles from here until the final zone. Wow. Very balanced game. That checkpoint was so easy. To be fair, as I say, this was nerfed. Like, this used to have... Like, I don't remember if it had too many spikes here or a big spike here. I don't remember exactly what I nerfed of this champ, but I can guarantee you that it was extremely brain rotting, so I had to remove it. It was way too brain rotting, so well, I mean, you can say that about some other checkpoints, but specifically for me, that one champ was the king of brain rot. So that's supposed to be the full champ into two champs here. But yeah, as I say, that one champ that I got stuck a little bit in might be the hardest checkpoint, like this one here, but this one that's gonna come after the one I'm in might take me a while too. Though it also was nerfed, so maybe not. Maybe I'm just talking about the PTSD back when it wasn't nerfed. But no, I'm pretty sure that it's still hard, even after it was nerfed. It'll be hard to tell, probably. Right? And here we have a very curious champ. This champ is known by the community as an sphincter champ, because it looks like a sphincter. You know, the thing that you have in your anus that essentially holds everything together. Well, it's essentially a double corner champ, if you want to get a little bit more technical, which is fucked up. And it's also another one of those champs that I kinda had to think twice if I wanted to put it in or not. I ended up doing it. I mean, the champ itself, I wouldn't say that it's as hard as the champ that comes afterwards. Like this one, you have to do a full champ, which is already hard from here because you have this spike right above you. But then you also have to do it, like, get above this inverted spike and champ immediately, but without touching this one. So this champ is hard, you know. I heard rumors about that champ name coming from Paragus Runs, which sounds plausible enough. I have no idea where it comes from, but it makes sense. I mean, if you want to quickly identify that champ, doing it with a name like that is probably for the best. Because calling it a double corner, the only thing that it will... Like, double corner is very generic, because you could only have like these 3 spikes here, or these 3 here, and they will be double corner. But yeah, almost. But the way it is right now, it's like, you know, very easy to identify. Also, this champion itself, this one here, is almost the same as this champ. It's just that the positioning here and the fact that you don't have spikes right next to you here make it a lot easier, but it's almost the same type of movement that you have to do. It's a very quick right-left movement. Very, very quick. I don't even know what killed me. I think it was the mini spike pointing upwards. Oh, and there was also something that I nerfed on this screen. I almost forgot. There used to be like a diamond, like this type of 2 mini spikes. There used to be one here, if I'm not mistaken, which made this fall champ extremely cancerous to do. I mean, more than it already is. It was quite fucked up. There you go. Well, we're gonna do that fall champ now. I mean, all this champ. Well, that's a pretty funny way to die, I gotta say. But yeah, essentially, having like a spike like that here, added to the fact that this is a 16 pixel gap, and the fact that this champ here is very precise. If you want to land on this platform, you have to very, very precisely do this champ. I mean, not super precisely, but precise enough. So here we are getting super close to the castle, to the point that the clouds just disappear. Like, we are right next to it, right there. You can fully see the silhouette with no more bullshit on top of it, I mean in front of it. Except for the rain, obviously, but yeah. Now, there is one champ here that might look extremely hard, but it's not that hard, which is essentially this one. It might not even be easy to understand what you're supposed to do, but you essentially full champ here, double champ, and when you are falling here, you hold right. Like, you don't have to do any calculated stuff, you just hold right. The calculating part is essentially when you start to hold right. But if you just hold right here, you're gonna fall straight to this point, at which point you obviously need to triple champ. But yeah. Where did you get the whoosh sound from? From Pizza Bay. Which is a page that you can get a lot of royalty-free images and sound. I recommend it. It's very good. Whoop. But yeah. We made it to the castle. We are right in the entrance. Now, you see these platforms here. I wanted to make this platform something that was more smooth, but it isn't. These are like multiple collision boxes all together. I wanted to make something diagonal, but apparently the engine I'm using is not very good for it. So when you are launched here, you are forced to take this star. This star essentially gets rid of your double champ. And well, it's impossible to die here, by the way. Like, no matter what you do, you cannot die. The only thing you can do is go here and press up. And the door behind you closes. And we are finally inside of the castle. Inside of the castle, with a completely new gimmick, which is the second original gimmick that I made, which is essentially a shield champ. when you pick up this refresher, your next champ is immune to spikes. Only until you land, that is. If you land on a spike, you're gonna die, of course. But yeah, not in the air. But yeah, I also am glad that a lot of people like this mechanic. A lot of people, I mean, the 3 people that managed to make it here, they like this mechanic, which I'm very glad. And something that I'm a little bit disappointed though is that nobody mentioned the saves. The saves have save written in cursive, but nobody mentioned it. So I'm a little bit disappointed, but it's okay. Nobody noticed it. I just wanted to make it fancy since we are inside a castle and everything, you know. But yeah, it's not like it took a long time to write that in cursive, like drawing the pixels, but yeah, it's alright. Yeah, this also, these pictures, as Wasabi mentions, these are all drawn by my mom, indeed. All of them. Because my mom sometimes feels like drawing, and since the background of this level are simply bricks and nothing else, I felt like it would look way too dull. So, well, the first thing I did is to add animation to the spikes so it will look less dull. But I thought that wasn't enough, so I added those drawings. So yeah, thanks to my mom that drew them, of course. They are pretty nice. Now, there is something about this gimmick that is not very well done, and you probably saw it there. Sometimes when you approach a platform from the side, you die, even though you are not landing anywhere. Like, it didn't happen there. I mean, I did die, but I died to actually landing. But there are a lot of times where you approach a platform diagonally like that and you just die. And that's because the game thinks you are landing, even though you aren't. See, like right there it didn't happen. And a lot of times it doesn't happen, but sometimes it happens. And unfortunately I didn't know how to fix it. So I didn't. But instead of fixing it, what I did is, this is one of the last screens that actually makes emphasis in this type of champs. So instead the following screens make less emphasis on having walls like that, where you will be able to diagonally collide with them. But trust me, I tried to do multiple things and none of them worked. By the way, this is another thing that I nerfed. Instead of having too many spikes here, this used to have 2 spikes in each side. The thing is that doing it that way, if I'm not mistaken, it's align specific. Like, if you don't have a specific align, no matter how tight you do it, it's impossible to make the champ. So I had to nerf that. So yeah. It had to happen. And also, before I go to the next screen, you might notice that the location, or well, the way this save is placed is very weird. Why is it inside of the bricks, right? It's because if I put one of these saves right next to a checkpoint, if you fall into it while the shield champ is active and you save inside the spike, you are gonna get soft lock. So I needed to make sure that no save was located next to a spike. So otherwise you will soft lock. I mean, I didn't actually test it, but I'm pretty sure like you will just simply get soft lock. I mean, it will make sense. Like, by the time you respawn, you will simply, you know, not have the shield thingy and just get soft lock. Now, the whole point about this part here is that you're supposed to fall dodging the platforms. The visibility is not very good, but since the obstacle course is not that hard, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. But it is true that visibility could be better. I mean, that's something that Norton, which is one of the guys that beat the game, told me, that it doesn't help that the spikes are also blinking, you know. It's understandable. Also, there are a lot of champs here that use this thing, but it's quite unnecessary. Like, you can probably get around it without them. Alright. This is the first time that we see wildlife. In particular, those are supposed to be hummingbirds. The typical little guys that like flying in place. Yeah, those guys. Also, this is yet again another screen that has inverted spikes. Yeah, this one also had some of them, but yeah. Essentially, at some point, it became like a mechanic to stay, those inverted spikes. And another thing, initially the gimmick of this zone wasn't meant to be the shield champ. Like, I ended up coming with this shield champ idea after I realized that my previous idea was shit. Essentially, my previous idea was to make the spikes, instead of, you know, pointing downwards, upwards, left or right, I will make them point at weird angles. But that's a terrible idea. I mean, it's a terrible idea that you don't realize how terrible it is until you start trying to do it. And then you realize that it's a very bad idea. But yeah. It's alright, don't worry too much about it. I'm glad at least that I came up with this idea. I mean, there's probably another fan game that also uses this, I don't know. I thought of it. And it's hard to make screens with this gimmick because it's hard to do pathing without the player just skipping over everything, you know. It's not easy to do. Right. So here on this other screen we have a drawing with sparrows. Not the blue one. The blue one is not a sparrow, but the other ones are sparrows. Well, actually, three of them are sparrows. The one on the right is also not a sparrow. The one that has like that those gray feathers. The three in the middle are sparrows. That's because we used to have a sparrow that fell off his nest. So we ended up raising it before it will fly again. So because of that, my mom loves the sparrows, and it's understandable. They are pretty cute birds, just that they tend to be very scared of people, which makes sense. It's survival instincts. And also, the other day, I remember, quite some time ago, when Draynor was playing this, he was like Yeah, surely we're gonna get Bloody Tears later for the game soundtrack. Well, you kinda have Bloody Tears in this song. This song is supposed to be the final stage song for Dracula Heads, or Castlevania Dracula Heads. So as you can see, it combines multiple of the most popular Castlevania songs into one song. So yeah, that's cool. Oof, that was close. Okay. I can't believe I died to that. I did that jump without thinking. You're supposed to have a like to be a lot closer to the right when you make that jump. Also, starting to get cold again. Give me a second. Would be nice if I didn't punch my headphones. Would be useful. But yeah, as I say, the closer it gets into the night, the colder it gets. But yeah. Originally this song is not from Dracula Heads, it's from Rondo of Blood. But since Dracula Heads is a game that takes everything from Rondo of Blood, it's just that this particular version is from Dracula Heads. This is for the Super Nintendo. And the Super Nintendo cannot have those fancy sounding instruments that Rondo of Blood could have. Instead you have the typical... Wow, nice dead. You have the typical Super Nintendo sound font. It's pretty cool. I personally like the one this one sounded more. I mean, at least as video game background. Oof. This cannot be a full jump. No way, right? No, I would probably die. I don't think it is. And this is essentially one of the first... Not the first one, because there was one back in Zone 2 that also had some pathing. But this one has some pathing as well. Because you can tell you're supposed to go through this, but the only way to do that is by going up here and falling through it. It was essentially the first, or as I say, one of the first ones that actually heavily lean into pathing, pretty much. I'm satisfied with how this screens ended up looking. I do like them. Some of these jumps are pretty hard. I kinda compensated by making the bottom part here to be not as hard. It's still challenging though, but will be a lot worse. The real difficulties on the top. So yeah, you gotta get past that first. Gonna have to raise the coat again, because as I say, it's getting quite cold. I mean, I do have the winter open. The winter. Having the winter open will be something, but no, I have the window open. Just that with the blinds, they are down, but the window is open. There is a little bit of cold creeping into my room. Also, Now that you're seeing the, you know, are you still discouraged from playing the game, Wasabi? Well, I'm assuming that since you watch Echo played it, you probably did get a little bit discouraged after seeing him struggle, right? But yeah, I don't think that showing myself not struggling will probably change your perception much, because I mean, you will know more than anyone that the creator of a game tends to struggle less. Wow, that really killed you, I can't believe it. After seeing some of the worst screens, yes, I think I don't wanna continue, okay. You're probably talking about the final zone, and that's understandable. The final zone has some fucked up screens, I guess. There's not much that can be done about that. It is what it is. The final zone does have a lot of very hard shit. The idea is getting there today. I don't even know if I will be able to beat some screens in there. I mean, I should get there with some time to spare, so we'll assume that there are some screens that I can beat. How did you not jump in time? How is that possible? I wonder. I don't think I comprehend. It's fine. The jumps on top are hard, no matter what. Well, in fact, I was considering nerfing this screen, but I also thought to myself, we are already in the castle, you know? So this screen's being hard makes sense. You are almost at your destination. I mean, you're kinda at your destination. So yeah. Okay, I think that jump at the top, I'm fucking it up by bonking my head against the ceiling. It's easier to just do it softly. Oh, and that also cannot be a full jump. This kinda looks like you pull full jump here, but no, you're gonna get hit by that. And that's a shame, because that's not a hard jump. It is what it is. It happens. Essentially, from this screen onwards, I will say that is where this zone gets challenging. If I'm not mistaken, this is screen 76. I remember the following one, which is also relatively challenging. I remember the other one. There is one that I don't remember. Like the second to last screen on this zone is the one I don't remember at all. I guess I kinda remember some parts of it, but definitely not the whole thing. It's a little bit dizzy in my memory. It's just a little bit dizzy. God damn it. One thing that I thought is that once you get past those two spikes at the bottom, that you will get a checkpoint, but I don't know, I ended up choosing for that to not be the case. Probably a mistake, but it's fine. No worries. Maybe this screen might lack a checkpoint. I have a feeling. A very slight feeling. There you go. Okay. Yeah, and then we have some interesting shit. I mean, you can already see that the first jump is quite fucked up. We should start. We get a fucked up jump. I mean, it's one of those jumps that it's like a very quick turnaround. It's not like it's particularly hard to do. I mean, as you can see, I'm doing it semi-consistently, but yeah. It's still something that ain't all that easy to do. That should have been a neutral jump instead of that. And then this part might be a little bit confusing knowing what to do. You're essentially supposed to pick this refresher and try to go to the left as like this. I mean, I don't think it's something hard to figure out. Maybe some people might struggle a little bit to understand the idea behind it. But yeah, and now we have parrots. Who doesn't like parrots? Yeah, we have some parrots, and this is also another one of those that is a very path intensive screen. Right? You follow a very specific path using the invincibility. Yeah, a parrot. Not just one, we have 6 of them. Well, I don't know if all of them are parrots, but they kinda look like it. Perhaps. Yeah. It's one of those screens that there was a theme for this screen, which is essentially using nothing but mini spikes, and as you can see, that is indeed the case. Now there is one jump here that kinda follows what I was trying to avoid, which is this. Like, if you hug the wall here, it's possible to trigger that bug that you simply die. So that's a shame, but I didn't know how else to do that part of the screen otherwise, so I had to think of doing it some way. It's fine. I also like how the shining spikes loop. I mean, having this type of spikes with animations is not particularly the best idea for Needle, because it can be a little bit distracting, but as as I say, I feel like otherwise it would have been too dual. Okay, it's fine. I don't think it was a problem for the people that got here. I didn't trigger the bug. Okay, and that sequence of jumps can also be a little bit hard to understand, but you're essentially supposed to keep your momentum as you jump here. It's not extremely obvious, I will say, but yeah, what you're supposed to do. Got him. And then this is the screen that I didn't remember much of. It's supposed to be like a gigantic shuriken. It's pretty nice. So it's what it is. It's a gigantic shuriken indeed. You're supposed to jump there. I also struggled quite a bit to make sure that the player couldn't skip this. For what I understand, that's not possible to skip. It's something that I struggle in like the entirety of this zone, like making sure that the player doesn't skip anything. Too late. I'm pretty sure that this screen is not as hard as some of the previous ones, but it's the second to last one, so at least something that we can be sure of is that we will get to the final zone today. How far into the final zone? I don't know. We will see. Wow, nice. Nice jump. The final zone has a lot of potential pain. Like, a lot of potential pain. Without a doubt. Don't worry about it. I mean, I remember the screens that were painful, and I remember more or less what to do. Not like that will guarantee to make it less painful. The pain will be there. I mean, the idea is to make sure that tomorrow's stream is the last one of this game. And it should be the case. But yeah, there are some screens in the final zone that are quite fucked up. This jump is not that easy, but at the same time, I don't think it's that hard to do. Like, it's not even that precise. I'm pretty sure if you do a full jump, when you get the gimmick, you can simply just fall here, which is obviously the idea. I also kinda like how these blocks are connected by the spikes. I found it very cool looking. Wow, I died to that. Pretty funny. Oh, another thing that I'm not sure if at this point you notice is that the bricks that are here, not the ones in the background, but rather the ones used as tile set for the platforms. Those are like the original I Wanna Be the Guy bricks, but recolored to make them brown instead. But yeah. I mean, it's at that point where it was a little bit hard to keep being creative, you know? mean, it might not seem like it, but getting creative for a lot of these zones and the way the things look is very hard for me. It's not something that happens spontaneously. Something that I have to think about. And then once I think about it, I have to, well, make it. At this point in the game, creativity was starting to run low. Essentially, I mean, originally what I wanted to do is I wanted to make the background have windows, and the windows will show you the rain. And as you go higher, the rain starts stopping, right? But that was too much work. So instead I just put those drawings. Like, it's a cooler idea, yeah. The original idea was put in windows. That was a little bit harder than I initially anticipated. Don't worry about it. Really? I'm dying to every sham possible. It's like I want to demonstrate every possible way of dying. Because I'm doing a good job at it. Wow, why did I stop? That was pretty stupid. You're supposed to hold right there. I don't know why I lost confidence out of nowhere. Hey, you're supposed to hold right. It's fine. As I say, that jump was not made to be precise, so you can essentially just get away with holding right. I mean, assuming that you don't die before getting the refresher, or using it for that matter. But yeah, that's the idea. I kinda fucked it up. It's a shame because the two jumps that come afterwards are absolutely free. I mean, you can kinda call them choke checks. But it's a little bit hard to choke on those jumps. A little bit. Not impossible though. I guess if you miscalculate them, it's a possibility. I can't believe I'm failing that jump. Yeah, as I say, it's like I'm dying to every jump possible. It happens. This is pure unadulterated skill issue. This screen is not even that hard. I wouldn't even say that it's harder than the previous ones, but it's certainly feeling like it right now. Trust me, it isn't. I mean, there is a reason why I wasn't remembering what this screen was. It never really costed me too much to beat it, but I guess it's costing me now. It's fine. Oh, that, even something like that, that's such a ridiculous way of dying. Like, the double jump activated there. I didn't jump from the platform. God damn it. The next screen is the last one of this zone, and it's not really that hard at all. Like, essentially, you have what was I about to say? I can't believe I'm dying there. No, I was gonna say that you have the final screens of each zone. Essentially from zone 6, that the final screens are not that hard. Especially when you count zone 7. Zone 7 really wasn't... like, it was kind of a joke, especially after coming from the... room 69. That one was fucked up. So yeah. Bro, I cannot do this screen. I simply cannot. No, I know what I need to do. Hold up. True power. I'm probably gonna have to zip it up again, but every time that I need to try hard something, it's kinda like my body temperature just rises. I cannot avoid it, so yeah. You gotta be sleeves off. There you go. And I have to do it like this. It's a very funny thing. Every time that I'm starting to struggle with something, my body temperature is like it just increases. But I keep dying to that, dude. What the hell? Like, I'm landing too quickly though. I'm pretty sure that what's happening there is that the bug I was mentioning is triggering. It's just that it didn't used to trigger that much there. I guess it's doing it now, because it feels like it. That was too close. So it is possible to die in that champ even after getting the refresher, I guess. You're seeing it there. I guess it happens that my body temperature increases every time that something unexpected happens. In this case, the unexpected thing is getting stuck in this screen out of all of them. Because it's not a hard screen, I can guarantee you that. Okay. Apparently it is. Though this screen being a hard screen, I guess it makes sense, since it's supposed to be the second to last one. So it kinda makes sense. Kinda. There you go. Yeah, that took a lot longer than it should have. And we're finally at the final screen. So the final screen of the zone, that is essentially, as you can see, something that is full of spikes. But obviously, since you're immortal, you just go through it. Visibility is not very good. I guess you can see it's part of the challenge. But yeah, I do admit that the visibility here is kinda trash. Essentially, you're supposed to jump non-stop. While at the same time avoiding landing. It's the idea. It's not that hard to do, at least compared to some of the other ones. still be quite challenging though. I'm pretty sure you can also skip that. Like, if you take this refresher and you double jump here, it might be possible to simply make it there without needing to go below. Anyways, getting into the real stuff now. Getting into the real fucked up shit. So, this is the final zone in the game. We're essentially supposed to be climbing the part that you see above the castle. The one that has the blaze, that's the point. That's what we are here to quench. And as you already are seeing, the gimmicks is that you have every gimmick thrown at you at once, which can be pretty fucked up. Well, can and will be pretty fucked up. So yeah. This first screen is obviously supposed to be the easiest one, because it's kinda like a quote-unquote tutorial. I mean, not much of a tutorial with the difficulty it has, but yeah. Supposed to be at least a welcome into the final zone. But after this screen is where shit starts getting very hard. It's where the game starts scaling quite a bit in difficulty. So yeah, it is what it is. That triple jump, you know that this was nerfed. I think that, I don't remember where this used to have spikes, but it didn't used to be this straightforward. Essentially nerfed it because I couldn't stop dying there. And it kinda pissed me off. But yeah, don't worry about it. And this is the first screen that will make you want to, you know, lose your soul. Or rather, it will make you lose your soul. Especially your hope. This is a very hard screen. I will even say that it's one of the hardest screens in the game, even compared to some of the ones that come later. Still not the hardest one. At least not what I think. The hardest thing about this screen is that you're supposed to be jumping through these water patches while you are frozen, and that's very hard to do. I mean, I've done it so many times that I'm probably not gonna struggle as much as a first-time player. Because I mean, a first-time player first has to figure out what he's supposed to do. I don't, but it's still hard, no matter what. But might be stuck on this screen for quite a while. Believe it or not, it's not the hardest screen in the game. And you will see. But I mean, obviously the hardest screen in the game is the last one. That's the idea. Something that I made it that hard knowing that it was the last one. But yeah, that's the idea. Too early. Combining these gimmicks, I think that it was a pretty interesting thing to do. Oh, also, since these walls are supposed to be like fire walls, you die if you touch them. And it doesn't matter if you're using the shield champ, you will still die. But it's something that I don't think it was that case at the beginning. Like, I think at the beginning, I had to purposely alter the code to make sure that those things kill you even with the champ shield. Or shield champ, I guess. Too late. That's gonna kill me. Went too far into the left. Though you can kinda correct that. If you jump to the right and you come back left, you can kinda correct. It's not like you are doomed. But yeah, it's not easy either. It's alright. I mean, I think that aside from the final screen, this is probably the second hardest screen in the game. So yeah, beating this one will mean that the other one should theoretically take less, except for the final one, as I say. We will see. It's a challenging one. Even knowing what you're supposed to do, I can imagine that it's quite fucked up if you don't know what to do. Admittedly, it probably would have been a good idea to put a checkpoint before this section with the water. Probably would have been a good idea. But at the same time, it was also in my philosophy here to make all of the screens on the final zone to only be one checkpoint. Probably not a very good philosophy, but wanted to make sure it was like the hardest possible. The left champ. Essentially what I'm doing here is something that Shampoo Referentor essentially does since the beginning, which is combining different type of champ refreshers on the same screen. Shampoo Referentor does that since the very beginning of the game. I don't. In fact, every zone is just one gimmick. I like to focus on one gimmick. Essentially, the climax is all of them together. I think that's gonna be enough. And that's definitely not enough. Okay, that is enough. Alright. This also used to be harder. I'm pretty sure that... Don't remember exactly how, but there were spikes here. So that makes me wonder how the fuck this champ was even possible. Oh yeah, I remember. This used to have spikes here, but there was a champ refresher here. Problem is that doing something like that was still quite hard. So I had to remove it. So yeah, believe it or not, that screen used to be harder. But yeah, on to the next one. This one without triple jumps at all. Triple jumps are just not part of this screen. But yeah, some screens don't have every single gimmick. Because as much as I kinda wanted to do that, it's... in some cases it's hard to think of a screen with all of them. And then the hard part here is essentially not touching these platforms while you are flying to the right. It's hard to do. It's possible, obviously, but it's the idea of the screen. That's the challenge. It is also a screen that I remember it taking me quite a long time to properly make it so it wasn't extremely hard. I think the result wasn't really extremely hard. It's still hard. I mean, already starting with this sort of water thing to refresh your jump is quite fucked up. Too short on that. But yeah, essentially that's the idea behind this screen. But I will say that, I mean, I might regret saying this, but outside of the final screen, I don't think any of the following screens is as hard as the previous one. But considering that they are all quite hard, it all depends on... it depends on RNG. I'm kidding, but yeah. Essentially... just the way it is. Nice. Alright. This was also a screen, the one that I'm right here, with those 4 squares, fitting for being the 4th screen. This was a screen that one of the players that beat the game, which was Norton, struggled quite a lot on this one, mostly because the first square is quite hard, and then the following ones are not super easy, even though they are easier. Not extremely easier, you know? It is what it is. Personally, I don't know if I lacked it out, but a lot of the attempts that I had on this screen while I was testing ended up beating it quite fast. But maybe I just got lucky. It's a possibility. Also, I think that I speed on the keyboard, but I don't see it. Or maybe it was actually further. I don't know. But sometimes it's hard not to speed, unfortunately. When you're casually talking, especially when you're heavily focusing on something else, which in this case it's obviously, well, this game is particularly not very easy. It's fine. The one screen that I remember that could also give me trouble is the next one. With all these screens, they can always give you trouble, because all of them are just like baseline hard, no matter what. But in fact, here I still wasn't able to get into the second square. Okay, that's fine. There you go. I really overshamped that, no way. This is also, by the way, possible to do in a single champ. In fact, when I look at Echo beat this, he didn't even use the triple champ. You can just simply champ here and then double champ. The part here is a little bit fucked up. It's kinda supposed to be a choke check, but I will say that it's quite hard by itself, you know? But yeah. I can't believe I died to that. That's pretty sad. Essentially, these screens are pure try-harding. There is no other way to describe them. Just the epitome of try-harding, as far as this game goes. Yeah, that champ that you do with the fast champ seems like when you pick the low champ, it's very hard to not bonk your head. Will you make this game open source at some point? I don't know. Then again, I think that everything that, except for, you know, what happens at the end of the game, like the rest is something that you can simply replicate by looking at it, you know? I mean, like some of the gimmicks you will have to code them yourself, I guess, because the ones that are not from Shampoo Refrenter, I coded them myself, but yeah, I don't think it's the kind of game that making it open source will change anything. I could, but I just don't see many people get benefited. Because it's a simple needle game, after all. But yeah, who knows? For the time being, no. Mostly because I'm not even sure if I'm done with it or not. I could still think of adding more difficulties. Even if I probably won't do it. I don't know. One thing I could share is a clear file. The people that don't want to beat the game can still see all of the levels and shit. This part is fucked up. I got it. Oh, I wasn't expecting to overjump that one. Wasn't even aware it was possible. So gotta be careful with that, because once you manage to land that jump, doing the freeze jump at the end should not be a problem whatsoever. That was a shame because it was pretty close. Also, this jump that I'm doing here, the very first jump, is a jump that I remember Echo struggling with it for quite a long time. Personally didn't find it to be extremely hard, but it seems that it was quite precise for him. I mean, it is a precise jump, it's just that I didn't think it was that precise. And I mean, I still don't think it's that precise, but might just be gamepad advantage, you know? We will see. Oh wow. I overjump a little bit. Also, I'm trying to remember some of the following screens, and I think I only remember one of them. Well, aside from the final one. Actually, the final and the second to last one I remember. After this one, this is the 5th screen of this game, so essentially room number 85. So I know which one. Okay, I think I'm 88. I think I remember it. Yeah, 87. I think I remember as well. So which one was 86? I don't think I can remember which one comes after this one at all. I'm trying to remember and I don't. I can't. I don't remember actually. Oh, okay, never mind. I do remember. Yeah. The next screen is not that hard, or it shouldn't be at least. Yeah, the next screen is not that hard, and then I will say that of the remaining ones, the 8th one can be hard, and the last one, of course, is the hardest one in the game. But yeah, the other ones are more or less fine. We'll say that this one is quite challenging to do. I'm actually surprised by how far I'm getting, all things considered. see that I'm getting quite far today. I was doubting if I could even get to the final zone, but we've been here for a while, so that's definitely a yes, which is pretty cool. I'm trying to think. I mean, I will have to see on what screen I end up finishing this stream on. If I had to take a guess, it's probably gonna be room, like the 7th room. So essentially, not this one, not the other one, but the other one. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, because that will mean that tomorrow I will not have much to do. I was expecting like this would take more than 3 streams, but with this pace, it's not gonna take more than 3. And it's not even gonna take the entirety of the 3rd one. But I will say that anything can happen, because, as I say, I could very seriously get stuck on the final screen. And that will be a problem, of course. The final screen will make me get stuck for quite a while. Also, by the way, Wasabi, if you are interested in a specific resource or code or whatever from this game, you can just ask me about it, you know. I can just give it to you, whatever it is that you might be interested on. Doing those very short jumps on the water, I somehow made it on the first try, and now I'm struggling every single time. It seems like that's one of the things that it was better when I wasn't thinking about it, and now I am. Especially the more you struggle, the more that it will be on your mind. Well, it is also possible that I cannot beat this screen today. I doubt it, but it's a possibility that I just get stuck here. It could happen. We will see. I mean, this one is not an easy screen. I personally wouldn't call it harder than the second one. Man, come on. Maybe underestimating this screen will be my downfall. It could be. So I will find it pretty sad if I struggle on this one, or rather, in the sense, I'm already struggling, but I mean not being able to beat it today. That will be some sad stuff. bad champs. I mean, I'm mostly scared about that stripe at the top where you're supposed to do super short jumps. Seems like such a pain in the ass to do. Well, because it is. Fuck. Almost. I also gotta be especially careful with the... Like, yeah, it's pretty fucked up that if I had gotten this high jump properly here, like, I probably would have already been God knows what screen right now. Yeah, I fucked that one up and now I'm simply dealing with the consequences. I mean, it's just one of those screens that fucking up once can cost you so much time. Well, it's pretty fitting to have the Sham King music here. The song is from Sham King, and Sham King is the kind of game that... Yeah. It's the kind of game where you might fuck up once, and if you hadn't fucked up, you probably would have saved yourself hours of suffering. It's the type of game that fucking up once, or not fucking up, makes an insane difference. You know? So I guess for checkpoints like this, where there are so many precise jumps, is also the case. Probably. It is what it is. There you go. Yeah, it like that might be a challenging screen, but it's not supposed to be that fucked up. So this is the first screen that, well, the first screen in the final zone that uses the triple jump from the beginning. Like the whole screen is about triple jump. So that's nice, I personally think. Pretty cool. And this one, at least for what I remember at the time of testing, this wasn't a hard screen. Just that, as I said, making screens with the triple jump is very hard. Because it's just hard to avoid the player from skipping, and even more so now that you combine every single gimmick in the game, which makes for a lot of potential skips. So designing something like this isn't easy, so I feel like this screen, probably compared to some of the other ones, is quite easy. I mean, you can even tell with this jump. I'm pretty sure that it's possible to do this jump and get to this refresher with 2 jumps, not 3. Like, you don't need 3. But I made it so it didn't have to be that hard to get, you know? It's the idea. Okay. I mean, a lot of these jumps are like that. They have a lot of margin to be done. And as expected, that screen was pretty easy to beat. This one is not gonna be that easy to beat, but it's also not that hard either, I will say. And I think that this is the type of screen that it might be possible to do an insane amount of skips on it. Like, I didn't try, and I'm not that interested in trying either, but if you get to this shield jump here, but instead of landing here, which is the intended path, you use this water to like keep going up and keep jumping on the following screen while you are invincible, of course. I don't know how much shit you can skip like that. Maybe it's nothing, maybe there's nothing that you can do, like no valuable time skip at all. I don't know. And as I say, I know that I won't try. If for some reason anyone at some point wants to speedrun this game, which I think it's not gonna happen, that might be a potential very big skip. But I have no clue. I doubt that anyone is gonna be crazy enough to speedrun this game. Seems like a pretty bad idea all around. I wouldn't recommend it. This jump, like while I was making this screen, kinda got buffed. I think I have a jump refresher somewhere around here. It was a lot easier to make this jump into the water. But I removed that, so now it's a lot harder to do. Maybe a little bit too hard, I don't know. I do remember Echo getting it on the first try, and then struggling every other time he got there. And it makes sense, because it's not an easy one at all. It all depends on the angle that you take that. Wow, I can't believe I died to that. Because the jump button didn't decide to trigger. Or rather decide to not trigger. Wow, and it also didn't trigger there. Seems like my fingers are starting to betray me. I mean, it's understandable. They went through a lot of abuse today. So I definitely don't blame them. That was too much to the right, unfortunately. I think I can beat this screen today. It might be one screen more than I was expecting. I mean, there is a possibility, which is probably not gonna happen, but that I might be able to even make it to the final screen today. But that will imply that I can do the next one extremely fast, which I don't think is gonna happen because it's relatively challenging. And I mean, the second to last one is not hard at all, but yeah, it will still need to be quite fast. But yeah, I think the best idea just to avoid unnecessarily getting tilted, is beating this screen and then leaving the rest for tomorrow. I think that's the perfect plan. Because yeah, the next screen is not extremely hard at all, but it's also not very easy. So with the timer, I mean, I have 10 minutes. Can I beat this in 10 minutes? I have a feeling that I'm gonna regret this, but I do remember that this is one of the screens that when I tested it, I beat it relatively fast. Just that I kinda got a little bit scared after Echo struggled quite a bit, though it's mostly because of this part. This champ is the hardest one in the whole screen. And it's quite hard to do. Well, this one is also hard to do. Yeah, basically this zone can make it so you struggle a lot. So yeah, I don't know if I can beat this one in 10 minutes. Would be nice. I'm gonna get surprisingly further than I was expecting. Also, I'm a very big fan of that champ. It's a very long champ that if you get past that gate, you should do 100% of the times. I don't know if it's possible to die after you're past the gate. I mean, yeah, technically you can make a short champ that gets past the gate and you're gonna die if you do that. But if you do a full champ and you get past the gate, I think it's guaranteed that you won't die. Like, even a champ like that was pretty close, still wasn't enough to kill. Man, I really hate when my finger decides to not champ. This was one of those times. Man, that ending is so free. I can't believe I fucked it up. This was also nerfed, by the way. This refresher originally wasn't here. And this champ, believe it or not, is possible even without this refresher, but I thought it was way too hard to, you know, was way too hard to do that, especially being the final champ and all of that, you know. It's a little bit fucked up. It's fine. It's very hard to, because the point of this place is that you're supposed to champ from the water. You're not supposed to leave the water and then champ. You're supposed to champ from here and then champ twice. That's hard to do. Like, you don't have too much room to do that, so it is a little bit of a problem. But it's fine. Landing too high. Especially when you choke in champs like the final one, that's when it hurts the most. That's when it really hurts. And and it ends up affecting your mindset for the rest of your attempts on the screen, because you're like, damn, if only I wouldn't have fucked up there, I would have already beaten this. And yeah, you are right, but thinking about that doesn't help at all. It's just that it's very hard not to think about it, of course. It's fine. As I say, this screen, it might not be super hard, but it's definitely not easy at all. Really? Why do you die there? For what reason? One, for example, I mean, it's hard to tell when you get into that water when you manage to jump from it and when you are simply like falling from it and jumping in the air. I mean, it's kind of similar to what happens when you are at the edge of a platform and you do a double jump immediately instead of jumping from the platform. Something that happens quite often. And it's something that... Yeah, you have a reference though. Like right there, it's the sound of the double jump. If you hear the double jump, it's because you fucked up. Dying there is so sad, though that death is relatively understandable. I think Echo also died there, and I also died there the times I tested this, so not a surprise, but it's still pretty sad. There you go. I could beat this screen as well. It might be a little bit... I might be getting a little bit too cocky though, but I'm pretty sure I can beat this one right now. This is... differently from how it looks, this screen is not that hard. Will be more fucked up, but it's not that fucked up. I mean, it's mostly knowing what you're supposed to do. Once you figure out what's the intended way of doing this, the screen is not that hard. Essentially, well, for these high jumps, you should try to jump as low as you can. These are not really obstacles that are that bad at all. But when you get here, you're supposed to jump into this refresher without using it. So that way you fall here without being frozen, and you should start jumping here, at which point you will be frozen, but obviously you have a lot more room to move. So yeah, there's that. I'm not sure if it's a good idea to attempt this now. As I say, this is not a hard room at all. I mean, especially compared to the one that comes afterwards, which is the very final room. That one is fucked up. But yeah, we will see. So I wish I could remember. No, the path is this one, right? Like you do here, left, right, right, and then... I'm not sure why I'm getting killed by this spike out of all the things you can get killed by, but it's okay. Damn it. At this point you are frozen, and now you are going fast. The combination of those two things. And at that point when you get up there you choose spam jump. Well, this is the final room, and I'm not gonna do it now. This is the hardest room in the game. So trying to do this right now will be a terrible idea. So just in case, I'm gonna do one run. Just one. Imagine if I got it on the first one, but no. This room is the final one and it's very hard to do. Essentially, well, this part, doing this jump here is super fucked up. Though it's not like anything else is much better, but yeah. This is a screen that will take its time to be beaten. I rather leave it for tomorrow because I really don't know how long it might take, so yeah. Let's just leave it here. I will say I'm doing very well time-wise. I mean, the in-game time is 5 hours and 37 minutes and I'm on the final screen, so it might, I doubt it, but it might be possible to even do this in 6 hours of in-game time. If we're talking about real time, it's more like right now it will be like 6 hours and 15 minutes, so not quite what it says there, but you know, relatively close regardless. But yeah, that will be it for me for today. So I'm gonna finish this tomorrow, so thanks everyone a lot for watching. I'll be seeing you on the next stream, so have a good one and take care.